5 years ago, I cut and planted some hybrid willow branches and it turned into this. Today, we're gonna try and do the same thing on my property and see if we can get the same results. The root system and getting that established is really important early on. We have those 5 apple trees and 1 pear tree. He is hammering over there. Sam and I just rolled up to the 70, and I wanted to preface this video by quickly saying thank you for all the support and engagement on the last video. It's been a really fun year up here and we've learned a whole lot, and I just want to say how appreciative I am for the continuous support and all the insight and whatnot. Looking forward to a lot more to come and another great year out here. So Sam and I were just on a different property that I planted some hybrid willows at, and I wanted to try cutting and transplanting some of those out here, just more so as a blockage and screen from basically the road. There's not a huge area where I want to do this. There's not a ton of low ground out here where I think these will do well, but there's enough where we're going to try it in a couple different spots. And we cut these little cuttings and we're just basically going to stick them in the ground and see how they do. So kind of a fun project and experiment. We do have 6 apples as well, apple trees, or excuse me, 5 apple trees and 1 pear tree that we're hoping to get planted too. So rain's coming in a couple hours, so hopefully we can beat that, and we're gonna get to it. So the ground is a little bit harder than I'd like. I was expecting there to be a little bit more moisture here, but I think as we get a little bit lower, it should turn out a little bit better. And I think overall this portion of the property holds the most moisture, so I think they'll do okay, but we'll obviously see what they turn into. In my experience, what's worked best in regards to width is somewhere between the width of your pointer finger and your thumb on how thick you want these cuttings to be. In regards to length, anywhere between 12 and 18 inches is what I've seen work best, and I lean towards longer is a little bit better. And you want to get them at least halfway down the branch into the ground. With cuttings this small, the root system and getting that established is really important early on. So yeah, as far as you can get these into the ground, the best. So with these ones here, I'm hopeful for even a 50% success rate would be a success in my mind. So yeah, we'll see what they turn into. There's a couple more I want to do, just a second or third row where the ground's a little bit wetter. So we're gonna move to that and keep moving along. Just got to the second spot and we're just a little ways off the driveway here and the main access trail. And this one here I'm gonna plant just for a little bit of blockage from the north, and then more so just to add a little bit of diversity. And this spot here is much wetter than the other spot. So we have, 5 trees left to do. So we'll quick get these in the ground and hopefully beat the rain and get those apple trees and pear in. All right, just wrapped up this last tree, and I think we probably put in 30 to 35 or so. And like I mentioned with these, if we can shoot 50%, I think we're doing pretty good, and it's really a pretty easy way to go about in just cutting and planting these. So we'll see what happens. They 1000% should be mulched and fenced. We don't have time for that today, but I'd like to, in the next couple weeks, get back up here to at least put mulch around them and put some fencing, because the deer will definitely nip these off, especially when they start growing. So definitely try and do that. We have those 5 apple trees and 1 pear tree that we're gonna go get in the ground, and I do have mulch and fencing for those. So hopefully we can beat the rain and we can get those in. This was naturally a fairly open area already, so I figured it'd be a good spot to plant these trees. We pruned both a crab apple tree and I don't know what kind of regular apple tree it is, but both in this general area. So I figured with those trees already here, they should provide some decent cross-pollination, and hopefully it'll turn into a little orchard. Regarding the trees that I got, so I have 2 Liberties, I have a Red Spy, Arkansas Black, a Korean Giant pear, and then there's one other one that's I can't think of right now, but I have, there's 4 different varieties and then the Korean giant pear, and those should provide a pretty long range of dropping time throughout the year, both from early season to November and December. And that's something you really want out of your apple trees, is just to provide such a long period for when they're dropping. So we're gonna get going, space these out, and then yeah, it looks like the rain may hold off for a little while, so we'll get after it and see if we can get these in. One thing I will quick touch on is, it's an obvious one, but make sure these are deep enough. Another thing is, especially early on, they need water, like really badly. So to keep them watered, or in hopes of rain coming, that should obviously help too. So we're gonna get these 6 in, get mulch around them, and then get the fences up, and we should be good to go. Hear that? It's way closer. He is hammering over there, which gets me pumped up for this weekend. We just got done with tree number 6, and while we've been putting these in, there's been at least 1 tom, and there might even be 2 gobbling in the distance, which is great to hear. Opener is on Saturday, so I'm hopeful that that will be our next video. And there's been a fair amount on camera too, and there's been a handful, or at least a couple strutting in the big bottom plot. So looking forward to that coming up. Like I said, we got these 6 in the ground, so we're gonna get them mulched and get the fence around them. All right, the mulch is down, and now it's time to get those fences up. Quick one to touch on a couple items. So the mulch is maybe obvious, but that's to keep moisture in the ground and keeps the weeds down. And then also, some people may be wondering about fertilizing. So in my experience and everything I've learned is water the first year is just leaps and bounds more important than fertilizing. So after they're established, like after year 1, then would be a great time to get fertilizer in, but that's why we're not doing fertilizer today. So we're gonna get these fenced, and then that should do it. Stakes are up. Now it's time to get these fences done. All right, so just wanted to quick give you guys my way of fencing, and by no means is this the most, I would even say, efficient or best way to do it, but it works for me, and it's fairly inexpensive. So I just use chicken wire, and this stuff, I think it's the 5-foot tall chicken wire, and I did get some 4-foot too, just because they were out of the 5. But I'll put 1 T-post, 2 of the thinner T-posts in, and then just wrap the chicken wire around each post. And then I'll get just these earth anchors here, and in between the 2 posts, I'll just widen it and then anchor them down even more. So as you can tell, I mean, it's really tall, so they're gonna be hard pressed to have anything get in there. And hopefully these earth anchors will just keep rodents and anything else from coming underneath and getting at the actual tree itself. But we may end up doing we got some smaller wire that may put around the tree too. But that's been my way of fencing, and seems to work out all right. Well, it's about 6:30, and that is a wrap on these apple trees in today. It does take a while to do it what I think is mostly the right way, with the mulch and then getting fencing around them, but hopefully it'll pay off. And I think without doing the fencing, you're just asking for a prayer. So yeah, overall happy with that. And then with those willow cuttings and planting as well, interested to see what those turn out like, and I think those could definitely use some fencing and mulch too, but we just didn't have time for that today. So yeah, we got turkey season opening up this weekend. So when this video drops, it'll be the day after opener. So if you got out, hopefully you had some success. And for those still getting out, good luck. We did hit 1,000 subs, so appreciate all the support. And as always, thanks for all the insight, and keep all that feedback coming. It's always great to learn and to go through all that out here. So like I said, thanks a bunch for watching. We should be up here turkey hunting next, and we will see you guys on the next one.